So, if you've been thinking of getting into Zbrush, I took my first foray into it over the last 2 nights. So, let's discuss. So, this is my first character. It's not very impressive, but there was quite a bit. This UI is different than anything I've seen before, and I've been working on computers for 30 years. First of all, the menus are alphabetical. The other thing is, if you don't, from what I can tell, you don't want to save, you normally would save a project, save a document, which would be the project. In this case, I found saving tools, saving your model as you build it as a tool, because the models are called tools here. And that is the best way you'll get it to work again, or be able to use what you did. Because when I saved it in the document, I could not get anything to come back. But if I opened a whole fresh installation, I loaded my tool, and then I used this button here, and this just escape. That will, because I'm in edit mode, see, this is a weird thing. Sometimes I have to shift and click to get my thing back. But this is now in edit mode, and if you want to do a different tool, I guess you want to get, normally you would do, if you want to add something, you would do append. If you don't do append, it's going to replace it. Okay, these are the kinds of quirky things that I ran across. Now, it's very powerful. Oh my goodness! And you know, in the hands of someone who knows what they're doing, you can make incredible things. So certainly, if you want your custom characters for your projects, it is worth learning. I would start. You can start with the School of Motion. Just came out with a video, and the lady who did it is a teacher from an art school right near there called the Ringling School of Art and Design, where Joey Corman used to teach before he started School of Motion, and she's very good. Like any situation, and this happens to me when I talk about programming things, if you've been doing something long enough, sometimes these little nuances that are just pre-programmed into your brain, you don't even think about them, and you may, and you sometimes find that in some of these tutorials, someone might miss a little nuance because it's so programmed into them. Nevertheless, this is an excellent tutorial. It'll get you going. I tried to not quite follow it, although I did make the little semi-alien head, and then I wanted a body on it. So she does talk about how to bring things together using, what is it? It's under one of these things. It's under I think it may be under geometry. Anyway, she goes through how to join your parts together. Now, where that also could be useful is if you're working with metahuman characters. You can bring them in as an OBJ, the head and the body, just bring them in. And you can probably do that, because one issue I ran in with those is the body kind of got distorted, and when I was trying to give it muscles and blend it, did not seem to catch that, if you will. It still seemed kind of separate. Now, I could have been doing something wrong trying to put them together, but you may have better success here, even though an OBJ is not as versatile as an FBX. So we got this little model here. Now, what I want to do with this guy is right now, if you go over him, you can see he's got 50,000 polys. So Let me see if I can find remesh. Is it remesh? Or no, it's not remesh. It is Dynamesh. And that may be under geometry. Dynamesh. So I click on Dynamesh and, you know, do my resolution and hit the button, and let's see what we get. I'm gonna say yes. I do have a subdivision. So now how many polys have I got? Let's go back up to subtool. You've noticed this. This is why you Dynamesh. How it reduced it from 50, like 1/5 the polys. And so now what you can do, I'm going to save this again as a tool. Save as Dynamesh. And we're going to do DYN, just so I know you. I saved like, I don't know how many versions, just because, and if you, once you get used to it, I'm sure you won't need to save as many versions. But, so now what I want to do is export this as an OBJ. And we will, let me just make sure that I have him selected. He is definitely selected. And we're going to export firstchar.obj. And I don't know where, well, see if I can find where I even put it. I'm looking on another screen here. I'm hoping to put it in the Zbrush. Is there a, no, it didn't. Oh yeah, here it is. Yep. And he's not that big. He's 800, and you can see how many versions I've been saving, I think. But you see, these are details, which seem to work a lot better. Here's our OBJ, which is a object. Now what you can do, I'm gonna close this down for now as to not take too much. Actually, I'm gonna leave it for the second, and I'm gonna bring up Cinema. Doesn't matter, you can bring up Unreal. Either of them will take OBJs. And you also can change colors and stuff. So we got Cinema, and this is the latest. Now, of course, these work. Let me see if I go Zbrush, go Z importer. Let's see if it likes that. Or does it import it directly? I am not seeing. I'm gonna have to look at this. I have not played with that before. So let's just do a regular import of the OBJ. Actually, generally do a merge project, and see if I can find the. Oh, I'm in the wrong. Here we go. First character. Let's see what we got. And he's real tiny, but there he is. Now I'm curious how big he is relative to let's see, create. See see if I can find the figure. Yeah, look at this here. So this is our figure and this is our model. So in his case, he is gonna have to be probably about well, we're going to need to multiply this by 1,000. I don't know if you can see if you can do yeah. Now, one thing that I have been hearing is you always want to have things kind of in proportion, because everything that you're going to do is going to work a little bit better. Whoa. Well, I don't know if that worked out so good. Maybe it only needed to be 10, because now he's massive. Look at that. Anyway, so to get us to the end of this, basically go through tutorials. There is definitely a learning curve, and if you happen to be a sculptor or have experience with working with real clay and so forth, or even probably a lot of experience working with the sculpting tools in Blender or C4D, you're gonna have an advantage. You can see I don't know anything about sculpting, so I come up with this here that is nothing spectacular, but the cool thing is you can rig these things and make it do something. So I'm going to be playing around with that and seeing what I can do. And it's just practice. I mean, I see these people create these amazing things in Zbrush. Just insane. Someone's already done, if you are a fan of Games of Thrones, I'm not a huge fan of it, but I'm a Doctor Who fan, so I'm quite familiar with Matt Smith. They did a model of his character already. So, yeah, the people who can do this stuff are real good, and I want to get to a point that I can at least do something. So I'm going to be continuing on this journey, and if you have Max on one, there's also a 14-day trial, I believe. But I would say the School of Motion video is freely out there on YouTube and is a great place to start. Just be aware, and you may run into some things, and you find that with all these tutorials. You don't know. Watching a tutorial does very little. You have to fight with the program. If you haven't gotten your in battle with the program, you know, you really don't know. So anyway, thank you for watching, and speak to you next time. Take care.